Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Now, it's been a long time, I know, but I'm here visiting my friends at Daytona, and honestly, I'm so excited, I'm so nervous because we've got a surprise for today. So, if you can see what's in my hand, that is a McLaren key, and that's because today we are here with this. One of the new cars that Daytona has brought in and added to the fleet. So in case you don't know, this is a McLaren 720S, and I'm so excited to tell you about this car because it's really a car that's near to my heart. And yeah, I'm going to try and go through everything with you guys, try and explain everything that I know about this, and yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Okay guys, so if we look at the design of this car, it's very complicated, but that's because McLaren has focused on trying to get the air across the vehicle as efficiently as possible. So if you see down here on the lights, there's actually holes and creases in here which forces the air to go in here. And as you can see down here as well, there's a massive radiator on this side. So basically, the air is coming through here into the radiators to cool the engine down, and it doesn't stop even along here. As you can see here, these creases down here, it funnels air in by the door, and it comes all the way into the engine. It's actually really well made. And as you can see here on the door, if you come over here, you can actually see there's some mesh in there, and that is to get rid of the hot air that's been formed around the tires. And obviously this air now funnels back around the car and it comes out here at the back. But now if we come to the rear of this car, there's a lot going on, and it's been so greatly designed that the air just flows over this car. And as you can see, it's got a really big rear spoiler, and this is to provide downforce for when you're moving at speed. And believe me, this car is very capable. So it's got a very high top speed, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, obviously you've got your exhausts here and this massive rear diffuser, and it's even got creases at the bottom to allow the air from under the car to escape. I must say this car has been very well designed, and yeah, that's pretty much the design for now. Let me tell you guys about the interior. Okay everyone, welcome to the interior of the 720S. I'm just going to start it up for you guys so I can talk about all the features on the inside. Okay, there we go. The engine is running. Okay, so a couple of unique things about this car is it's not just made for the road, but you can also track this car. It is very good on track. And if you look at this screen over here, that's basically your normal rev counter screen that you get in any other car, and it shows you a lot of different information. However, if you put this car into track mode over here, so you've got comfort, sport, and track. So if I shift it over into track mode, this will cause the screen to fold down, and basically you'll only be able to see your revs, your gear, and your speed. Okay, everyone. Sorry about this, but yeah, I've had a rough night, so I'm really tired. But anyways, as I was saying, it's actually not any of these. It is actually this little button over here, which if I press, you'll be able to see the screen folding. So if I click over there, now you can see that the screen is folding, and obviously you've got your gears, your rev counter, and your speed. And this is when you're on track, you obviously just want to focus on driving. You don't want to focus on anything else. So this is to keep you concentrated when you're on the track, and it shows the only relevant information you need when you're on track. And if we come over here, where I screwed up twice earlier, here's your ESC. So this is your traction control settings. So you've got your comfort where it's fully on, and it won't allow you to spin the wheels or lose traction. Sport, where it gives you a little bit of slip, so you can have a little bit of fun. Or track, where it basically, it doesn't disable it completely. It'll still kick in if it needs to, but then if I click ESC off, that means that there is no traction control at all. So I will be able to do power slides and burnouts and all of that cool stuff. And then over here we've got, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, your settings for the car, so comfort, sport, track, depending on where you're driving. And over here you've got this 10-inch screen which shows you all of your relative information. So if I click here, you've got your satellite navigation system over here, so like your GPS. It's not the most responsive screen ever, but you know, it's not that bad. Then you've got your air conditioning settings, your music over here. There's nothing connected at the moment, but okay. So here we've got your music over here. If I click this, oh, and yes, about the music. So this car comes as standard with a 4-speaker sound system. However, there's an option where you're able to fit a 12-speaker Bowers and Wilkins sound system, which, from the sounds of it, no pun intended, sounds amazing. And over here we've got obviously your start, engine, stop, so that's what you do to start the engine, and your drive selector. So normally in a lot of cars you've got a little sort of stick that allows you to switch between your different gears, but here it's just a button. So drive, neutral, and reverse. And funny enough, there's no parking setting on this car, so you literally just put it in neutral and you push the handbrake. So if you don't push the handbrake, you'll end up rolling, and that's not that good if that happens. And then over here we've got your hazards and your launch control. We won't be doing launch control today because we're in a showroom, unfortunately. But yeah, I must say the quality of this interior is amazing. And something really cool about the steering wheel is, if I just turn the engine off for a little bit quickly. So these paddles are not any normal paddles. So normally in a car that has paddles like this, if you pull this, it stays, you know, the right paddle won't move. But on this car, whenever you pull or push the paddle, it moves. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So if I wanted to shift up in this car, I could obviously do the normal thing. Or if I wanted to do it with my left hand, I can just push the shift down button and it causes this paddle to move up, thus shifting the gear. And it's the same with downshifting. If I want to downshift, I can just push this instead of pulling this, because when I push this down, it causes this paddle to pull towards me, thus shifting the gear. But the steering wheel is covered in leather and obviously carbon fiber, as you can see. And yeah, no, the steering wheel feels amazing. You feel very comfortable, you feel very confident in this car. And obviously all the materials is all Alcantara and not leather, apart from the steering wheel. But yeah, it's covered in Alcantara everywhere, and this whole display is actually angled towards the driver. So you're able to focus more on what's happening, and you don't need to look anywhere. You can just click whatever you need to do. So yeah, this is my tour of the interior. I'm going to tell you a few little cool things about the exterior now, and then we'll get to the exciting part where, as I usually do, I get to start the engine and you guys can hear it. Okay everyone, so now I'm going to tell you about the front boot of this car. So obviously the engine is at the back, so there's no boot over here. The only bit of storage space you have is in the front. So if I click this, the front boot, or frunk or fruit, will open, and if you lift this up, you see you've got some storage over here. It's not bad. You can fit a whole nice bag in here. Obviously your stuff that you get with the car, and there's a net over here as well in case you want to store something. But I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty practical if you ask me. And yeah, this car is made of carbon fiber, so this literally weighs nothing. It's insane. So let me just close this. Oh, it's not closed. There we go. Finally got there. Okay everyone, so now let me tell you about the performance of this car. So at the rear we've got a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 producing 720 horsepower, as the name of the model states, with 800 Newton meters of torque and a top speed of 341 kilometers an hour, which is insane. And the acceleration on this car is even crazier. It'll accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2.6 seconds, which is just 1/10 slower than a Bugatti Veyron, which for a rear-wheel drive car is crazy. That's when you know it's quick. And it'll keep accelerating. It'll go from 0 to 160 kilometers an hour in 5.2 seconds, which is honestly one of the quickest for any of the supercars around at the moment. And that's what I keep saying to all my friends and even the people here at Daytona. This car is supercar value, but it has hypercar performance, which is really rare nowadays with a lot of the supercars that people are producing. But this thing is honestly worth the money. I'll get to how much it costs in a little bit. But now is the exciting part. I'm going to start this up for you guys so you can hear what this twin turbo V8 sounds like. Guys, let me tell you, that sounds incredible. Even when you're in the inside, when you feel the throttle, the whole car moves because the engine is just so big that when you rev it, it just moves the whole car. That is insane. I hope you guys enjoy the sound of this car because even on the inside, it sounds amazing. Okay everyone, so I just want to show you some cool tricks to this car. So I'm just going to start it up real quick so everything will work. Hopefully you guys can hear me, but if you see here, it's really difficult to get in and out of this car, and that's because this over here is actually the chassis of the car. So this is a carbon fiber monocoque. So what that means is the whole car is basically like a sort of frame, and all the body panels are just put on top. So this is all part of the actual structure of the car, which is very interesting because it also saves a lot of weight, which is what McLaren were doing when they made this car. And something really cool as well is this little button over here. So this little button, if I click this, it'll basically lift the front of the car up. And the purpose of that is if you get to a speed bump or whatever, you basically don't scratch the bottom of your car as you're traveling over a speed bump. So it basically lifts the front up so that you're able to clear the speed bump. So it's really loud. This radiator fan is literally sucking air as we speak because the engine is on. So I really hope you guys can hear me. But now I'm just going to quickly show you how the front of the car lifts up. So I'm just going to I'm going to open this window and close the door. So I'm going to push this button over here and then you'll be able to see the front lift up. Apologies for the poor microphone quality, everyone, but basically what I was trying to say was that the pillar on the outside of the door is essentially part of the entire chassis, so it makes it very difficult to get in and out of. And I also spoke about how the lift system works in the sense that you wouldn't like to scratch your front splitter of your car going over a little speed bump or a curb or anything like that. So to avoid this, McLaren has fitted the car with an optional lift system that lifts the front of the car up. Okay everyone, so I've mentioned that it's got a carbon fiber monocoque chassis and that makes it very difficult to get in and out of. But now I'm going to try and demonstrate how not easy it is to get in and out of this car. So if I lift this up, obviously you've got your carbon fiber monocoque over here. So it's not easy to get in. You kind of have to fall into it or just rest on the chassis, but don't worry, it's carbon fiber, so it won't crack. It's a bit of a squeeze, but now that you're sitting in the seat, it's honestly really comfortable. It's not in my driving position. I would be a bit further forward because I've got short legs. But as you can see with the roof, this entire thing cuts out. So if this panel was here, like embedded in the roof, it would have been very difficult for me to get in and out of, because you have to lift yourself up to get above this monocoque chassis that's exposed over here. And now to get out, it's also a bit of a mission, because I also don't want to scratch anything. It's not my car. There we go. And also these doors weigh absolutely nothing, so it's all carbon fiber, so it's really, really light. And now, that's pretty much everything, but I'd love to tell you guys how much this car costs. So, as I mentioned previously, this car came with standard grey rims, but these rims were 185,000 Rand. They were imported from the US. So, yeah, it took a while to get here, but it's finally on the car. And now for the price of this. So this is available here at Daytona. I'm not exactly sure of the price exactly, but it's somewhere around the 6 million to 6.2 million Rand range. And yes, this car is very expensive. I mean, if you look at the Portofino, Ferrari Portofino behind you, this car, I've done a video on this already. In case you haven't seen, you can go check on my channel. This car is 4.5 million, which is still a lot of money. But I think personally, I would definitely pick this McLaren over it because it just looks a lot better. It's a lot more of me. Like I really like this design. And I think it is the most expensive car in the showroom, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone, I forgot to mention something else about this car. As I'm sure you can see, it's got amazing doors that go up and down like that. And the actual name for this is Butterfly. So this car has butterfly doors. And why is that? Because if I open and close it like this, they say it flaps a bit like a butterfly when it flies. So that's just a cool little fact about the McLaren 720S. It comes with butterfly doors. Can you believe that? But yes, no, absolutely. I've loved talking about this car with you guys, and I hope you could hear me in everything because this engine is quite loud, and it's a standard exhaust. It's not aftermarket, so that's how it sounds like standard. But yeah, I've loved talking about this car with you guys. I'm still shaking about it, maybe a bit sweaty, but oh well. Okay, everyone, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover about the amazing McLaren 720S. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who watched the video. Please, if you don't mind, give me a like and subscribe to the channel because there's lots of more things coming. Not entirely sure what I'm going to film yet, but I'll definitely try and film something cool for you guys. And if you guys want to see any particular car, just mention it in the comments. I'll try my best to organize something like that. And I just want to say a really big thanks to Daytona for allowing me to be here once again. They are really good people, great friends of mine, Matthew Gillard and Jonathan Hugo here. They are just the nicest people. And don't be afraid to come into the showroom, have a look around. They're extremely friendly and their service is amazing. And also a big shout out to the owner. I'm not going to put his name out there, but he knows who he is. I just want to say a big thank you to you for letting me do a review on your amazing McLaren 720S and for putting the wheels on, because I must say it's a great addition. The black on black looks amazing. But anyways, that's all for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.